op-ed. This was billed to be a big speech on the economy. Okay, I get it. It's an early report card by the President of the United States. We're off to a pretty good start with the TARP program, and we got a reality check today that we got a long way to go. But it's what I didn't hear today that just kind of bothers me. Now, I realize that the President of the United States has to give the overview of what's happening, and I'm expecting to get the detail a little bit later in the game of recovery. But somewhere in this conversation, Mr. President, we have to get the devil in the details when it comes to cheap money in this country. Now, Wall Street has gotten a lot of money. And Wall Street is turning around doing some things. You know, the credit card companies are sticking it to us with higher rates. They're tightening the credit. They're throwing some customers out. And they're streamlining the way they do business because they want to make money, and they're doing it on our backs. Basically, we lend them the money and then they charge us more. But I'm talking about the middle class. I'm talking about small businesses in this country. I would like to know, where's the cheap money? The Small Business Administration has a golden opportunity right here to streamline the system and get me some cheap money. Now, let's play with this a little bit. You're the president of a small business, and I'm your vice president. And you say, Ed, go in and get a $250,000 loan. Now, for a small business in America, that's a pretty good chunk of change. And by the way, if I come back with that loan, I'm going to get a bonus. It didn't work that way. Not for small businesses. It never has. So the rules are different. We've got a double standard that's taking place in the country right now. So the SBA has a major role to play here. They need to figure out how they're going to loosen up credit in this country. Don't send me to the bank, Mr. President, and say that, hey, we'll give you $1 million, small business, for 9%. 9 what? 13%? That's what I didn't hear today, and I'm expecting to hear it as this economic recovery takes place. It is a time of transition, but it's got to be a time of opportunity for who? For risk takers. I want to be a risk taker. You may want to be a risk taker, but 9% isn't going to cut it. I want the same money that Wall Street gets. I want the same opportunity that Wall Street gets. And until we figure out how to do that, I'm a little sluggish on just how fast this recovery is going to be. Now, right now, 71% of the American people believe that the President of the United States is going to get the job done on the economy. They feel good about what President Obama is doing. And I do too. But the fundamentals to return small business back to activity have got to be in place. And 13% on $1 million isn't going to cut it. I say get the money to the community banks. Now, the president did address this somewhat today. He hammered home the point that lending money is going to be a real key to getting this economy back.
The ability to get a loan is how you finance the purchase of everything from a home to a car to, as you all know very well, a college education. It's how stores stock their shelves, and farms buy equipment, and businesses make payroll. So when banks stopped lending money, businesses started laying off workers. When laid off workers had less money to spend, businesses were forced to lay off even more workers. When people couldn't get a car loan, a bad situation at the auto companies became even worse. When people couldn't get home loans, the crisis in the housing market only deepened.
Now, I know that this president gets it. I know this president is for small business. It's just down the road we're going to get the detail. I want to get some real detail tonight from Maria Bartiromo. She is the host of the show Closing Bell on CNBC and also anchors the Wall Street Journal Report. Thank you for joining us tonight, Maria.
Hello, Ed. Good to be here.
I know you've got it. We talked about this earlier today. Is the administration sluggish on this point? I know we just got the Small Business Administration head in position the other day, but what needs to be done here in your opinion?
Well, you know what's happening right now, Ed, and this is a problem because on the one hand, you've got the government saying to the banks, lend, lend, lend. We need more money for small business. We need more money for individuals. We need more money moving through the system, and obviously we need credit moving through the system. But on the other hand, the government is also saying to the banks, we need your capital levels up. We're doing these so-called stress tests right now, and we need to ensure that you have the proper amount of capital if, in fact, the economy decelerates further. You can't do both. If somebody tells you, look, I want to make sure you have enough money in the bank, but also you need to be lending to your friends, what are you going to do?
So I'm here too early asking this question.
Well, you're going to hoard cash.
Yeah, they're hoarding cash. So will it get to the point where the SBA will play a major role in this comeback, where we're going to get the kind of cheap money that we've seen Wall Street get and the kind of deals that they've gotten? Because if we're going to get it going, don't we have to get risk takers in the market? 13% isn't going to cut it.
No, it's not. You really need the risk taker in the market. I think that's the right idea. But, you know, right now the banks are gun shy. They do not want to lend with taxpayer money, no doubt about it, because they need to get their capital levels up in order to pass the stress test. There's very much a conflict going on right now. How does that log jam break? I don't know. I mean, we need somebody to say, look, you need to lend. I think we'll get more information after the stress test results. That'll be a positive. We'll know who's strong and who's in the best position to lend.
Americans are upset with what credit cards are doing to them. They're throwing a lot of good customers out. They're streamlining their call list, so to speak, and they're raising rates on people that have been good customers. Why?
Why? Why not? They are all strapped. You've got businesses out there, banks, saying, look, okay, now it's tougher to lend. Now it's tougher to get a mortgage. Well, I'm in the driver's seat. I'm going to decide who I'm going to give a mortgage to. I'm going to decide who I'm going to lend to. And by the way, yeah, it's going to be more expensive.
Okay, Wells Fargo turns a profit first quarter. Goldman Sachs turns a profit first quarter. How are they making their money?
Trading. The stock market and the capital markets have improved greatly in the first quarter. You had this momentum shift all of a sudden where people felt like, okay, valuations are getting way too low. We want to be putting money to work in the stock market. Whether that has legs and is really sustainable long term is debatable, but it was the trading part of the businesses that really did well.
You're positive. You're positive on this economy.
I'm an optimist. I think at some point this economy comes back, but I think we've got worse employment numbers to come.
More, 3 months, maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
Even with all the construction projects that are out there?
Come on. I mean, 2,000 construction projects have started in the last 2 months. Great start. Fantastic that we're seeing new job creation. But the bottom line is we have not seen the ripple effects yet of Wall Street cutting back, businesses across the world cutting back, trying to hoard cash, getting the expenses down. Unfortunately, the employment numbers will get worse, and that has ripple effects throughout the retail part of the business. But, you know, there are some positive signs, Ed. I don't want to be all gloom and doom because we will get through this. We're a resilient country.
We will, but I want this administration to hear cheap money over and over again. That's what's going to get us going again when it comes to small business. Maria, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Ed.